The things I'm seeing, right, as a hiring manager, I've seen some really good resumes with certifications like these are all check the box, fantastic. We want to see that. But the other stuff I'm not seeing as applicable work to the role. So if you're a SOC analyst, you should have stuff besides like the Sec Plus or the CYSA. Since you just said that, I'll read yours in a second. On there to show that you've been doing stuff that'll help catch attention. But not only that, not only will that catch my attention, but I mean, you'll catch my attention if you have a bunch of certifications. But when you get into the interview and I'm asking you incident response questions, how would you do this? How would you do that? You're not going to be able to answer very well unless you have that experience doing these hands-on things like hopping in try hack me, hopping in blue team level 1, stuff like that. So I just wanted to put that out there as a public announcement. Get hands-on experience. It will help you in the interview process. Not only will it help your resume stand out, but it will help you stand out because you'll be able to answer confidently what you would do when you're getting those scenario-based questions out there. So I just want folks that are on here, folks that are watching this later, just trying to give you some advice to help you land a job much quicker. All right, I'll shut up. I'm gonna go back to my corner and do some more stuff. Okay, so we did a challenge. What do we want to do here? So we got a few people in chat. What do you want to see? I'll leave it up to you. I'll chat a little bit. Do you want to do some blue team? Do you want to do some red team? Do you want to hack? Do you want to do some kind of IR stuff, malware analysis, forensics? What do you want to do in game? Also, has anyone heard of what a black team is? Someone said something like black team cybersecurity. I've never heard of this term. Let's see. An external cyber attack. This sounds dumb. Red teams just don't do internal. Red teams are full adversarial. So the black team term is very redundant. No, that is completely untrue. And there's white, black, and gold. What is this? Power Rangers? Jeez. Would I change something? How long are you looking? So what's your goal? Are you looking to learn the most in general? Are you looking to find the most efficient path forward? What are you trying to do, Philippe? Happy to answer it, but I want a little more context before I just shoot some advice your way. But I am more than happy to answer this question. While you do that, we're going to look at what all these Power Rangers are in cybersecurity. White team, orchestrate, control, and drive exercise outcomes. I don't know what that means. So is this a manager or like a tabletop exercise person? Who knows? So this one's saying black team is simulated offensive physical adversaries. So interesting. Okay. And gold team simulated theoretical tabletop crisis simulation. So tabletop exercises. Or white team is definitely not tabletops. I don't know what that is. Is that like an exercise team? Because exercises are more than just tabletop. You could do like purple. You could do like cyber range. So confusing. I'm confused, and I've been in this industry a long time. I can't even imagine how a lot of you feel. I'm like, what is this crap? I've never heard of this. See what they say, red team is your simulated offensive digital adversaries. This isn't necessarily true either, because red team also includes physical too. So it's like adversarial, right? Whatever a bad guy could do typically is in scope for red team assessments. They are fully adversarial from a professional perspective. And this is me working at one of the top like offensive places in the US and in the world as well when I grew up in the offensive world. So I don't know. I don't know if stuff's changed since I've been in here. Let's see. Maybe try to get into the SOC role so I can get my foot in the door instead of niching too much on anything. And then after getting my job, I'll see what interests me inside the space. Yeah, I would change this significantly in that case, Philippe. I would say, let me bring up a sheet. So you're saying CYSA plus BLT1, and then we'll say AZ. You said something like this, so we'll say this, and AI. Okay, So one, let me look up what AZ900 is. I don't know what this is, but I assume you don't need it because you really don't need a Microsoft certification. Azure fundamentals. Okay. So you're looking to do Azure, not just Microsoft in general, but cloud, Azure cloud. Hey, congrats, Rain94. Glad I provided some value to you. And we're working on helping Philippe out with his roadmap. Hopefully, you're feeling pretty good about it, and hopefully you're pretty successful. How far have you gotten there, Rain94? Where are you at in your journey? While you answer that, we'll look here. So CYSA, right? This is, didn't you say you already had a cert, Philippe? Don't you have Security Plus or something already? So these two right here will likely get you a job. Probably. Azure Cloud. This should be a pretty quick course. It won't hurt, but it's not going to help you with hands-on skills. But you have prioritized the things that will. Okay, so you are here then. So you've done Sec Plus. You have done batch in Infosec. And then this is what you're looking for. So this here should get you a job. Right. Sure, there's going to be some luck in the play here where it's just got to be the right time and alignment for you. But this should definitely get you a job. Now, these are bonuses, right? I don't know unless you really like to learn about Azure and it's going to apply to something else you want to do. I may or may not get that, right? So, like, if you were, and you might have already said this before, but I was trying to remember what you wanted to do, like, in goal. Like, if you're trying to do something like purple teaming, trying to do forensics or malware analysis, I would skip both of these and niche down and focus on something specific. So, either doing a forensic course, a malware course, doing pen testing. Pen testing may even help you even more than, but I would say pen testing courses would be more useful than both of these because they're so broad. You're spending so much study time on a lot of information that's not going to be directly applicable. Whereas pen testing, all of the pen testing, like 99% of the stuff you're learning in a pen testing course is going to be applicable to a blue team role. So it's just something to think about, right? Definitely, if you like Azure, go for it. Don't let me dissuade you. I know I have certifications I've done just because I wanted to do them. Did they help me in my career? No. So like CAS Plus, I did it just because I would take my time back if I could on that one. But you just do stuff because you want to do stuff. I think I had the book or someone gave me the book, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna study this and take the exam. But yeah, just efficiencies for you. Yeah, you're in a really good spot with these first four. And you're just seeing after this point, you're just looking at what other value can I add to my organization. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of AI courses out there. TryHackMe has some AI labs. There are some cloud specific labs in TryHackMe that are probably way more applicable than this Azure course, to be fair. But up to you. I will say, from my perspective, I took a AWS course. I had to take it for my last job. So it's just the basic one. It was minimally applicable to my role. However, they paid for it and I used the information for my company because I built my AWS environment for us. So actually saved a lot of money because I took that course because a lot of us talk about pricing and whatnot. So it's just, you do what you do. Do what you do you. But if you're looking at efficiency, you're looking at asking for more money. These are things that are probably going to help you ask for more money as well, because that's always the argument too. How do I get into a role? And then how do I make more money while I'm in that role? Don't let money scare you off. Some people they don't like to talk about the money aspect, but it is something you should think about, right? Like the Joker said, if you do something, don't do it for free. Or if you do something well, don't do it for free. And that's just something, like, you are a business yourself. So think about how to best market yourself to other companies. You'll be okay. You'll be good. Hopefully that was a good answer for you. I'm curious what Ray94 has done with his roadmap. I'm curious what he came up with. Everyone comes up with a slightly different roadmap, which is perfect, because that way, if you do a certification I haven't done, I can ask you all about that certification and what you learned in it. Like recently, I was looking for malware analysis courses and forensic courses for some people. I want to send some people out to those. So I was trying to find good ones to do. So if you have taken any, let me know so I can look them up. Oh man, I just did a video for you, Philippe, on this topic. Well, it wasn't for you, but it was on this topic. Philippe's asking, what do you think about getting a Network Plus? Do you think it's still worth it for me? And next year, maybe I will be doing a course for GRC to better understand the field and frameworks. Boy, yeah, GRC. If you're planning on pivoting the GRC, do GRC. I would say if you're planning on pivoting the GRC and that's an area you want to do, just go straight to GRC. There is no need to go from SOC analyst to GRC. You can start in GRC. SOC is a really good place if you're trying to dive into other technical roles. So the malware, maybe the pen testing, maybe the forensics. That's a really great place to start from the SOC as a starting point, right? But GRC, luckily, you can go straight to GRC. So you may adjust your plan to say bachelor's, Sec Plus bachelor's, don't need CYSA, don't need BLT level 1, GRC. That's a new plan. But that's why I tell people to be specific where you're going. Like, what's your end game? Start working there because it's going to change your path. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting a ton of time going from this, all right, like this year and then GRC. You've probably now wasted 2 years of your time when you could have gone almost directly into it. Not directly, but you'll have to find the right opportunity, get your resume, all that kind of stuff. But this is substantially a faster route to do this. So if you're thinking GRC, go straight to GRC. You can do it. It's a pretty hot field right now as well. Completely different than SOC work. So definitely something to consider. What I suggest, if you weren't even thinking about doing GRC, would I suggest doing the Net Plus? I would not. I think it's a waste of time. Again, you're already getting all the network information that you need to get in the Sec Plus that you already have. So you're not gaining anything really. Yeah, you're getting a little bit more of an understanding of network stuff, but it's not directly applicable to your job. You're better off chasing stuff that's more specific to your role in the SOC, your network forensics, your network analysis, packet analysis, things like that, versus understanding, well, you already learned subnetting, but all that crap, Cisco, Juniper, all that whatnot. Let's see. Senor has a question. Do you have any suggestions? Hopefully that answers your question, Philippe. These are really good questions. You know, a lot of people are confused about where to go or just want some kind of advice on where to go. All right, so I currently have the THM Cisco Academy Reading Network and Security Plus, and also getting hands-on with VMs through VirtualBox. What is the THM, Senor? Try Hack Me. Jeez, it's late. I'm sorry. Senor, let me know. Just tell me what... Let's see. I'm trying to see what you said you wanted to do. You want to do blue team. You're on a self-teaching route. There's so many, I think, malware analysis. Yeah. So for you, Senor, so you're on a self-studying route. Let's do your chart here for you. Yeah, I know. It's been a long day. I've been up since 5:30. I worked all day doing paper pushing stuff as a manager should, and my brain is blasted. Do you have any suggestions for my journey? So you have THM. Great. You have Cisco Academy. I don't know that counts as much. I mean, it's good like hands-on stuff, but I don't think that there's no certification. It's just study stuff, and you're working on Network Plus, Security Plus. Now, if you're just trying to get on blue team, same thing is applicable to you. Senor, I would read through the Network Plus, maybe tops, but I would just get rid of it. I wouldn't even waste my time on the certification unless you're just, I wouldn't even waste my time on that. Actually, I would, if you're looking to do network stuff, then do Security Plus, then do Cisco stuff. Like if you're doing network engineering, if you're trying to look at doing network focus with SOC related stuff, Security Plus, then look at packet analysis type courses such as, well, there's a SANS one. There's other ones as well out there. I'm trying to think if there are any big ones specifically. I think maybe INE has a few. The biggest one is GCIA, which I have. I let that one elapse actually. But yeah, I did do the course, and it's like you're analyzing packets, looking for anomalies, helpful if you're looking for C2 type behavior where they're doing like a funky communication method. But I would do Security Plus and then focus on whatever specialty you're trying to focus on THM, and make sure you're including all of the pathways in Try Hack Me that you're completing. So like this, like work through one of the pathways in here. So just pick one. So like SOC level 1 or security engineering, whatever it is, and then put all these pathways that you complete onto your resume, and it's going to help you get looked at a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I just made a video this week because this question has come up so much where people are like, I just want to get so many entry level certs, but it's like, you don't have to. The Sec Plus is designed as a generalized approach to just cybersecurity information and tangential information so that you have what you need to go deep into the blue side or offensive. Like, it's a good place if you don't have a lot of experience. Hey, here's the fundamentals. Now I can start pen testing. So good stuff. All right. So Ray 94, I'm getting to you. Let's see what you said. I was going to ask, what cert would you recommend as a valuable next step in order to be appealing, because getting an interview has been rough? Yeah. They are rough, Ray 94. I look at what do you have so far? Drop in the chat what you've done so far, Ray 94. So yeah, it's hard. So I look at when you're trying to break into cybersecurity, there's two things you got to do. One, you have to build out a resume, right? This is what is going to get an HR person to reach out to you, a recruiter specifically. And then you also have to have the knowledge that when you get in front of someone like me and I'm interviewing you, you have to be able to convey, hey, I know enough information and I have prepared enough that I'm worth investing into, right? Because if you're brand new, you're trying to break in, you're really just trying to prove that you're worth someone investing time and money into training you to do this job, right? It's, yes, you've worked hard to do this, but why should a hiring manager hire you versus someone else or spend time on you? Because when we bring in new people into the community, into our organizations, there is so much energy invested in you to make you successful. We have to train you, and we have to spend some of our more valuable senior time to help you get on board. So really what you're trying to convey is, hey, I'm worth the effort. It's going to be easier for you to work with me than any of these other juniors out here who are also trying to break into the industry. So just think about the business proposition that you're making as a candidate to these hiring managers out there. And that's what that's the case you're making, a business case to invest in you, because that's what you are. And that's how I look at junior level people too when I'm considering them for a role. All right, I'm trying to build up a pipeline of people for my organization, right? I need junior level people, I need mid-career people, I need senior level people. Well, I'm putting a ton of energy into my junior people because one day I expect them to be my senior people. So I need to identify the right people that I think are coachable and are motivated to get to that point, instead of I hire them, they're not going to do anything, I'm not going to get any work out of them, and it's going to be a disaster. So that's just something to think about. All right. Hi, welcome to the chat. We're talking about breaking into the industry. So you came into a good time. I have stuff open here. We just finished the Splunk room, but yeah, we're answering really good questions. I think these are amazing questions. All right. So Ray 94 just passed the Security Plus in August. Big congrats. And I have been on track me for 100 days now. Have done the paths from pre-security through DevSecOps along with some other modules like Splunk stuff. So, all right. So you have Security Plus and you have done which specific modules? So you've done pre-security, DevSecOps, and what else? So we're going to say THM. And you are currently top 2%. Have you done any of these SOC specific ones? That would be my question. Because DevSecOps is great. Doesn't really help me with investigations. Yeah, you can get by with the right certifications, with the right lab time without a degree. It definitely makes it easier. It makes you more marketable, but it is doable with the targeted stuff. You have to have the right targeted stuff. So you have this one. You have security engineer. So if you're looking at engineer, and I'm looking to see what I think you just said blue team, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. I'm looking through all the chats here. Yeah, what is your target goal? A94. What are you shooting for here? SOC 1 in progress. And I will answer these other questions while you're working on that. All right. I've been applying to jobs, but no luck so far. I have a cyber degree. So I'm going to break these out into two groups so I can keep answering Rain. There's your stuff. And I'm just doing this because I'm dying quickly in terms of brain power. So I need to jot stuff out so I can keep track here. I think that's at IL-17. All right. So let's make this easy. All right. While you're answering it. So first part, so goal, SOC analyst here. Perfect. Right in my wheelhouse. You have a degree. So degree, I'm guessing bachelor's or associate. That really not quite matter. But answer in chat if it's bachelor's or a kill 17. Answer if it's bachelor's or associate's for me, or master's if you're fancy pants. Sec plus in progress. Yeah, man, long day. Thursdays are long days. Didn't even eat dinner yet. It's like almost 9 o'clock. I had not even a full lunch. Rough day. So I'm gonna finish writing this question then, and I'm gonna hop back to you, Ray94. I'm just piecing out this information here and get hands-on from THM, HTB. Okay, HTB and THM. Part two, also how do I tailor my resume to get an interview? Okay, all right, so we're gonna answer yours in a second. Interview. Okay. All right. So Ray94, you said, I like the blue team more. It's easier to understand in your opinion. Yeah, but I'm malleable. I learn what I need to so I can get my foot in the door. So here's the problem. Ray94, you need to pick at least a pretty close route and work towards that. So if you're kind of a foot in the engineering door, which your resume is very tiered towards being a security engineer. Like I would not, unless this would be tough. I don't even think you get past the recruiter's desk for my workplace with this. Like, this is great, but it's not useful for a SOC role. This would be great for an engineering role. If you're trying to do SOC, knock out that SOC 1. Do SOC 1, do SOC level 2. Put that kind of stuff in there. Maybe defending Azure, advanced endpoint, stuff like that. Like gear it towards what you want. Because if you're doing engineering, that's where you're like, okay, what types of things should I be learning? There's some how to set up a SIM. There's all kind of stuff specific to engineering that will benefit you, but you really have to gear it towards wherever you're targeted. Because if you just blast, right, say I'm malleable, I'm just adding stuff that's interesting or that I think people will look at. One, you're burning a lot of time spreading super thin knowledge out. So you like some of these other folks who are like, oh, I'm gonna do AWS, now I'm gonna do AI, now I'm gonna do Azure, now I'm gonna do Microsoft fundamentals, now I'm gonna do Cisco. You're spreading thin, and none of that's particularly useful to a lot of roles. Like none of that's useful to the SOC. Just wouldn't care. It's not something that would get you to a good spot where I can start training you and get you to where you need to be within a month or two. So you really need to just pick a direction and then let's start backwards planning. Because if it's SOC, get a couple in the SOC space, especially without a degree. You're going to have to boost it a little bit more. Your THM top 2%, good. Let's add some SOC stuff to your resume. That should, even without a degree, and I would add a SOC certification here. So Blue Team Level 1, TryHackMe has one. What's the other one? I was going to say the Cyber Mentor. That's not that one. Well, I think they have one too, but TryHackMe, Hack the Box. Hack the Box is what I was looking for. Pick one of those. The great thing about certifications are, for everyone watching, the great thing about certifications are that they're a third party vetting you as a person. They're vetting the skills that you've obtained. That's why they're a lot more powerful than just labs. Labs are great, but I want to see third party certifications in there as well that says, hey, not only have they taken the time to just go through the material, right? Because that's what you're showing with THM. You can go through the material. You're spending time on it. But with these certifications, it's like you went through the material and you actually know what you learned or knew it enough to pass the certification. That's where the vetting came in. So my advice to you, Rain, pick a specific area and then let's start planning. Definitely want to hear from you. And next time I hop on, or a couple of times, if once you get your plan together, figure out whatever you decided on and see what you have put together. All right, I kill 17. Let's see what you got here. Bachelor for you. Fantastic. Sec Plus in progress. Good. Finish that. You're probably not even going to be looked at without any certification. You got to have a certification. So step number one, get a certification. Your resume is probably going in the trash at the moment. Sorry. Sorry, dude. And you want to do SOC stuff. So I would also suggest getting, just like I suggested, Rain, getting a SOC specific certification. So this would be like your blue team level 1, something like that, or Hack the Box, try Hack Me's one. You can utilize those platforms to build up, to start working on that knowledge more slowly or in a more gentle fashion before you chase one of those certifications. But any of those certifications will be good. Just write them out on the resume so people actually know what they are. Because if you use the abbreviations for these, your recruiters won't know what they're seeing because they're new. Even a lot of hiring managers won't know what they are. So just write them out. But have an additional lab section. Same for you and Rain. Have a lab section on your resume that says additional studies, additional projects, whatever, call it whatever works for your resume layout, and put all these pathways that you've done, SOC level 1, SOC level 2, whatever, add that in there. And what you're going to end up having is a pretty outstanding resume. You have your fundamental thing like Sec Plus, right? Security fundamentals. Boom, you're going to have, I'm going to just say BLT 1, blue team. I keep calling it BLT. It's not bacon, lettuce, tomato. It's blue team level 1. But again, any hands-on certification, SOC specific, is going to work here. Perfect, Rain. Perfect. And then you're just going to add a bunch of these pathways, whatever pathways. So you're probably going to have another pathway or two done before you do your SOC specific one. Great. So now what that means is, hey, I got the eye of the recruiter. And now when you hop into an interview with, say, me, right, you can, yes, I am actually, I'm going to eat some dinner, get off of here. So when you get an interview with me, you're going to be knocking it out, right? And just to be clear, I'm not looking for you to just say, and this is what I've been hearing. It's been driving me nuts in interviews where they're like, I'll just let AV handle it. I will, what kind of, it's like, I'll just let AV blocked it. So I will then just give training to the user who had it. Like, I'm looking for you to respond like a SOC analyst, not like a system administrator. So when you're responding to these scenarios, think, what would a SOC analyst do? And that's how you should be responding, because that's the role you're interviewing for, right? Put yourself in that role. Before you get in, prepare yourself. I am a SOC analyst. I am responding like I'm a SOC analyst, and that's what we want you to do. So this means I'm going to isolate the system. I'm going to identify the process. I'm going to see if it's spread anywhere. I'm going to lock down the user accounts so they can't take any more additional actions. I'm going to isolate the host so nothing else can get out. You're going to do all these investigative things, these IR specific things on this host. And then I'm going to make sure nothing else is compromised along the way. And I'm going to look for the root cause. How did this happen? And we're going to fix that problem so it doesn't happen again. This is IR. This is what we do in IR. And that's how you should be answering in these interviews. So if you answer something to that fashion and you can handle a couple of back and forths, right? I'm going to drill in a little bit further. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about what you would do there. You're going to rock the interview, because very few people answer scenario questions well. And it's because they just come in with a Sec Plus book knowledge. They haven't done anything hands-on. They haven't worked through these processes, and they struggle. And you're not probably going to get hired if you do that. All right, Ray 94, have all the certificates you get for completing and pass listed on the resume. Perfect. Yeah, you get if you go SOC route, you get one of those specific certifications with the exam on it. You're going to have a really good resume, and you should do all right. You should be able to get one. 17 was asking, like, there's, how do you get a job with all these people, with all these roles requesting lots of experience? You're not going to get those roles. Sorry. You're not going to get the roles asking for 10 years experience, for 5 years experience. The roles you're going to get are these junior level roles that are out there. There are not many out there. I'm sorry, but they are out there. So let's see, cybersecurity. Actually, let's do, am I in Google? Yes, I am. Junior SOC analyst. These are the type of roles you're looking for here. And let's see, let's pop in here. This is what we're looking for. And some of them do say maybe they're looking for a few years experience, but most of them will not. These are the roles you're looking for. They're few and far between, but they are there and they are highly competitive, which is why I'm telling you to get the Security Plus, to get these hands-on certification, because you need to be competitive here. One thing I did when I first started out is I made a list of all the things that these jobs were looking for, and I marked how many times they were mentioned. So that basically you end up with a Venn diagram, right, of all the things that they have in common, and you know where to spend most of your time. Yeah, so this is the type of stuff you're looking for right here. I don't know if you can see it, 0 to 3 years. So these are the ones that you're going to actually have a chance at, unfortunately. There you go. Oh, I guess it's the same one. Let's see. Yeah, this is one of the ones. This is just a SOC analyst, though. It doesn't specify junior. Varonis again, Apex Systems. So typically in government space, I think Apex is government. They're going to ask for 3 years. That's typically a requirement. They will hire the SOC analysts, they will hire more junior people, but you got to have the resume to support that. And these are one of the ones where it's like, this is the recruiting side of the house where they're like, all this years of experience, but we'll take a bachelor in lieu of some of that experience. And if you have these other things that show you have hands-on experience with these tools, with this specific type of workflow in specialty, will consider you. So that's why I keep talking about all these things. Do these labs, do these labs. This is why, because you have to, because you're starting out brand new, you have to have a really, really competitive resume, and you have to be able to back that resume up with knowledge. And the only way you get that knowledge where it's going to be usable in an interview when they're kind of throwing curveballs at you is if you have enough experience that you can kind of use that knowledge you've gathered in creative ways. So for instance, like I did an interview before this job I just got where I forgot who it was, but they wanted a person to basically build out a forensics team. And it had been a while since I had done forensics. And so he was deep, like going down in very specific forensic topics. And I couldn't remember specific things. And so I was like, look, I don't remember. It's been a while, but I'm gonna talk through it logically. And this is what I would imagine based on these certain things. And I would talk to him. I was like, well, based on this type of thing, I would imagine I would identify it in this type of log because this API was triggered. And I just talked through it, and I could utilize my knowledge to solve these new problems I haven't solved before just through logical reasoning. And I ended up passing through and was going to get a job offer, but it declined for this role I got because this role was better. But it's just a case of I didn't know, but I was still able to use the knowledge to come up with a successful answer, an answer that was acceptable and was actually correct because of just reasoning. So something to think about. You learn enough, you're more flexible and adaptable to new situations. And if anything, even if you get it wrong, when you're talking logically through, you're demonstrating all that experience you've gathered, all that knowledge you do have. So it's going to be like a check the box anyways for you, because it's like, okay, they didn't know this, but wow, I just got demonstrated that they do know all these other things because they talked through them while they were answering this question they weren't right about. So something to consider there. What else we got? We got a good 25 minutes left on this. We got any more questions? Let's see what else we can find here. CyberSOC analyst. Let's see what kind of requirements we have. Let's see if we can find any good jobs for you on here. 4 years in the SOC or a similar role. Something to keep in mind too. Some people think, well, if I hop over to like a user management type role or something like that, then I can move into a security role, or I can move from a help desk to a security role. You won't make it through many recruiters in a SOC role with that experience. It's kind of like, okay, cool, they've touched computers, but they don't have anything here that says that they're going to be a good gamble when it comes to security. So something to consider there. I know I've seen personally where people have come from those, and they haven't been successful in the role. They're still stuck in their old ways and they just struggle with making that transition. So just because you do that doesn't mean you're going to be a great fit, and doesn't mean also that the recruiter is going to move you over there. So that's why, like, if you see my videos, I'm like, just go straight into cybersecurity. That's why, because you could spend 2 years in a help desk role and it's not going to make a bit of difference for you. Stuff like this as related experience, similar security experience. Desktop support is not security specific experience. So keep that in mind. Build these other things up. It works. One of the guys I mentored a while back, he did move up. He was able to make the transition from IT to security, but it was because the company he worked for allowed him to do that at his current place, right? They invested in him. They're like, oh, he's a great worker. Yeah, we'll give you some more security responsibilities. And it worked out for him. He had already had trust and rapport. It was a little bit easier for him to make that transition. So a little bit different because he was moving from within. It was like a lateral movement versus a big hop from one company to another. So slightly different there. Welcome to chat. If you're just joining, welcome. Here's a place, Smart DCC. I've never heard of these people. For someone entry level, either post grad or career move with an interest in cyber, there you go. Here's for a brand new one, specifically talking to you. Junior security operator or opportunity. I said operator. I can't even read. I'm so hungry. Competitive salary plus performance related bonus and shift allowance. Here's another funny one. If you're a junior person, don't ask for a crazy salary either. It's going to be an immediate turnoff. Be like, I'm fresh out of school. I get a Sec Plus. I'll take 150 G's a year. Ain't happening. They're going to go tell you to kick rocks. You might have had an opportunity and then you lost it because you overplayed your hand. So don't do that either. That's another one to stay away from. Here's another tier one. This is really, really high salary. It's government work probably because this would Booz Allen. Government space will pay more for you because typically there's like a security clearance like requirement and it costs money. It's hard to find people who can pass those checks, so they're willing to pay you more if you can pass the security check. If you notice the like tier 1, tier 2, a lot of places have tiered systems and you can kind of see what the differences are. So tier 2, 3 to 5 years typically. This one says 4 to 5, but 3 to 5 is usually what you're looking for in a tiered system. This has got to be a DoD role because we see DoD IAT 2. So this is one of these. You would be required to have a IAT course even for a tier 1 in government space. Here's a network security analyst. So if you are doing networking stuff, this may be a role that would be of interest to you. There are less of these roles than SOC analyst roles. I don't know what the interview process is for these specifically because usually they're combined roles, the ones I've done. So it's usually like endpoint and network all in one, and then usually we'll identify people that are more network heavy versus more endpoint heavy. And we have them, like, they'll be the ones that get involved if there's like a specific question about, hey, how do we identify where the traffic came from or the amount of packets that left or whatever it was, goes more towards the network people. But network stuff is kind of going away, especially for smaller companies. And the reason why is because most of the time we only get net flows, which include like your protocol, your IP address, target information, same, and then packets, like number of packets, how much information was sent. And that's because almost everything is encrypted now. So a lot of people aren't doing actually packet analysis unless there's some kind of decryption going on inside of that network. But most organizations do not have decryption whatsoever. So even with web stuff, you're only looking at the headers that aren't encrypted. So you don't even see the full URL. You're just seeing the domain, which is also why domain fronting is so powerful in companies these days, is because of the encryption. All right, we got one more question. That's good. We got 18 minutes. Let's see if this is an 18-minute question or if I have to go on 18 minutes worth of tangents. Let's see. So given I complete everything you mentioned, then when I create my resume with my previous non-IT role, should I tailor it towards the job description or leave it off the resume? You will have to leave all of your experience on the resume, more than likely. Well, depending, there are certain styles of doing resumes. Most people are doing them chronologically from what I've seen, but there are other styles. So depending on your style, but leave it in there. However, be conservative with how much space you're taking up with a non-IT role that has nothing to do with the role you're targeting. If you're doing a SOC role, yeah, I said it right, SOC role. I was like thinking roll. Again, I'm hungry, so I was thinking like food, like a roll, like bread roll. Anyways, SOC role. If you're doing a SOC role, but you used to work at like say the gas station, just put like gas station attendant. Don't even put like a bullet, like it's not applicable, no one cares, but you should probably have it on there, because one of the other things they're looking for, right, is how long have you been here? Are you job hopping all over the place? Can you keep a job? That type of thing is applicable, which they can get with just your time frame. Like I worked at the gas station for a year, and this was the gas station I worked at. Cool. Move it on. And and then you do your IT stuff or whatever else you got. But yeah, just save space, because especially if you're new, you're going to have like one pager, tops two. You're likely not going to have a 2-pager if you are fresh. And so you want to save that space for things like your lab time, where you do all these labs here, you have your certifications, you have your bachelor's degree, you have that little summary. I definitely encourage you to put a summary at the top, summary, mission statement, whatever type of language you want, where you can say, hey, this is why I'm amazing. This is why you should spend time on me. And just be careful with using like ChatGPT to do it or any AI to do it. Do it like, do it in a way that stands out and is unique, because a lot of time the AI content is very like bleh. Like my eyes glaze over as soon as I read it. It's like, okay, this is AI, moving on. I don't even grasp it, but it's such a good opportunity for you to stand out at the top. So use it to stand out. You have to figure out how to stand out in a competitive market. You just do. And right now is a hyper competitive market, because there's a lot of people getting out of school. There's a lot of people trying to get into these roles, and there's not a ton of them there. So every little bit of thing you can add to your resume, every little bit of like win, like positives, I guess is a better way to say it, add there, because it's going to give you a slight edge if you do it correctly. And that's what we want to do. We want to slowly increase your odds by adding more stuff, and more, not only just more stuff, but more stuff that is valuable to the role you're trying to go into and your potential employer than the other people. That's what we want to do. Records management analysts, yeah. Not super applicable unless you had a security clearance or something like that and you're trying to get a clearance role. And then it might be applicable. Hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, it's all a game, right? It's just a game. How do you win this game? How do you get into the top 3 of the candidates that are applying for that role? That's where you want to be. Top 3, right? Because sometimes the first person declines it, or something's weird with them, something falls through. Same with the second one. And then you happen to be the next person up to bat. Like, all right, and that's okay. Not only that, but like you can do other things too. If you're actually talking with a recruiter, nice, ask good questions, follow up, answer quickly, just seem very genuine, very nice, and they will keep you in mind for other roles. Recruiters are like people. Just because they don't have one now doesn't mean that they won't have one later, and they'll keep those records there. Like, hey, I just got this role, and I wanted to reach out and talk to you about it, because they enjoyed the experience with you. Like, hey, I know this role just opened, but we talked to this guy before and we filled the role, but it's worth checking with this person to see if they're still interested. So take moral of the story, right? Take every opportunity as if it's your last opportunity. So make the most of anything you can get. What else? We got 3 people in the room, in the stream. Any more questions? I mean, feel free to keep asking, keep chatting, Akil. I don't care. I don't really have time to do another lab, but we got plenty of time to chat. We can talk about the Power Ranger colors, purple, gold, black, all of that mess. Yeah, and the great thing that's here now is you have Try Hack Me. Try Hack Me has so many blue team things. They even have like malware analysis stuff and forensic stuff. Like, this is a really good course. You could probably rock my world in an interview if you went through this course, and you could actually answer to stuff like file carving. Like, when I'm in an interview, I say, feel free to be as technical as you want, because I can keep up with you and I want to see how technical you are. So that's what I tell people. Most job Most hiring managers probably won't say that because they aren't that technical, but I am, and I want to see. I want to see how technical you are. Yeah, LinkedIn and Google. I like Google as well. The other ones like Indeed and Monster and all those, I tried them in the past, and all I do is get flooded with scams and fake jobs, and it's trash. LinkedIn, you still get some of that. People reaching out to you all the time. Which is another thing, though. LinkedIn is a great opportunity to stand out and to have an extended resume of sorts. So spend good time on your LinkedIn profile, keeping it updated, making sure you're adding all the courses that you're doing. Like this is a case where you can put all your courses if you want that you've done and try Hack Me, Hack the Box, all these things. I look at it as my extended resume, and I've gotten most of my jobs have come from LinkedIn in one way or another. My first cybersecurity job in general, I came in, I came in working at ReliaQuest. It was my first cybersecurity job, and the recruiter actually reached out to me based off of my stuff. I had done a few certifications, and they're like, "Hey, we have this role. Are you interested in it?" But they reached out to me, and I've had another. I forgot what else it was. There was another one or two roles where the recruiter reached out directly, but some of them I just put out. Like I just decided to take a break after one job and go travel. Just almost take like a whatever they call it, like an extended vacation, a sabbatical. That's the word I'm looking for. I was like, what do those professor people take? Sabbaticals. So I took a sabbatical, and then I just put on there, all right, I guess I need to start looking for a job. This is the type of thing I'm looking for. Any of my connections know of any positions? And I had so many friends that I had worked with before reach out and connect me with people or talk to me and get me in touch with a recruiter at their company. So it's really good to have a quality kind of LinkedIn community, LinkedIn profile. And I mean, that also comes back to doing good work whenever you do get a role because people remember. And if they remember you sucking at life, not being a really good practitioner, they're not going to do that for you, right? They're not going to want to hire you and whatnot. It just is, right? If you don't have a good personality, people don't want to work with you, so they're not going to bring you on. I guess people had good experiences with me because they still do that for me to today. Like this last role was someone reaching out and chatting about it with me. So yeah, use LinkedIn, extended resume, LinkedIn community, do good work. These are all things that are going to help you grow in your cybersecurity career long term. The community is so small, like it's ridiculous. Like one of my favorite recruiters I've ever worked with, his name is Joe. I knew him, like people have probably heard me mention his name before already. I knew him for several years before I ever met him at DEF CON when he went to go work for TCM. And I just found out several of the people I know also know Joe. And Joe is also very involved with Gary's podcast and stream and all that as well. It's like the community's small. We know each other. You know, it's like Kevin Bacon, like but way smaller. Like I know someone that knows that person. I know someone that knows all these big name people. So it's pretty wild. So yeah, do good stuff because people will remember and people will talk about you. So it's not a matter of what you think about yourself, but what people say about you when you're not in the room. Something like that. That's a quote I heard one time, and it's a really good quote to consider.